I was discussing with a fellow farmer this morning, and I thought to share to you a part of this discussion. So I complained to this particular farmer, on the way these animals are very much. They feed so much, like they eat so much. So they consume our feed so fast. Just I just said it casually, obviously, just to have a discourse and everything. And then he turned to me and said, that I should reduce the way I'm feeding them. I should reduce the way I'm feeding them. Wow. And then I thought by myself and responded and said, it is of no use. You're not doing it right in business, reducing their feet. And let me explain to you my opinion. And I'm sure many of you will share the same opinion. Now, if you reduce the feet of your animals, sometimes in trying to cushion the cost and everything, what you don't understand, I can tell you this from experience, is that you are just adding more cost to your to your invoice. You may not understand this, but do the math very quickly. Let's assume you pay a worker every month. Put a price to that. An animal you're supposed to raise for 6 months on good feeds, you rather raise that animal for 1 year with a economical feed. If you can understand what I mean by that, that means with feeds that are just they're not very expensive. Like one of the biggest expenses in this particular feed we're using is the chicken feed. The one we get goes for about 25,000. So it's like a whole lot. And these animals, we finish the mixture of one bag in less than 2 weeks. So you can understand the cost we are expending on just feeding them. Now it looks like a very big deal, and it looks like we are not being smart, but rather we are actually being very smart. In some few months, these animals will be ready for sale if we intend to sell them. Whereas someone else feeding on roughages and every other thing will be using about a year. I can tell you from experience. Actually, I know people that are in this situation. Yeah, actually, in even that a year, some of them will not still attain the size that a well-fed pig for 6 months will attain. I know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, if you can follow what I'm saying, and you can examine the cost on not just even the feeds alone, because that roughage, that economical feed you are feeding, you are actually going to be feeding them for extra months. So let's say you were supposed to spend 10, 20,000 on their food every month, and you were going to be able to sell off your pigs to the market in 6 months on 20,000 feed every month. Now you decide to spend 10,000, but you will now then be using 1 year. Don't you see that you are actually spending the almost the same amount, if not much more than the same amount the other person just spent? You've not also included the fact that if you factor in the worker's salary, you factor in the money you will use to fuel your generator, to pump water, and every other thing. If you factor in also the space you are using, if these animals are ready for sale now, this old pen will be available for the next flock. We can raise in 2 sets of flock in 1 year, while this person is still struggling with the initial 4 set of flock he has, and they are still there for 1 year. If you can understand these metrics, you understand that, I don't know if they call it penny pound foolish or whatever they call it, but it's not going to be a very good resolution, a very good idea for you to decide to short feed your animal, no matter what. And that's why I've often advised that whatever you do, please factor in your capability to feed your animals before getting into this thing. It is rather better to have a number of animals you can feed than you having too many animals that you cannot feed. Then you are trying to short feed them. It won't do you good in business, because I can tell you for certain it will not do you good. You will just be more, you will be struggling, and if you're not careful, you would not be in business and you will start making losses. Because after you have spent so much in 1 year on water, on workers, on feed, and then they are pricing your animal, and you're surprised the scale. In many cases, I believe you should have watched the video by now where I explained to you how to sell your animals. Like what I tried to give you my own advice. See, those of you that short feed your animal, don't even try to use scale to sell your animals. If you try using scale, you will be very sorry, because those animals that you short feed will not attain the right weight. No matter how big they are, they will not attain the right weight. So, and of course, people that are buying with scale, they love people like you, because they will obviously be getting so much from people like you. So anyway, I just thought to hear my thoughts to you guys. I just didn't want to keep this to myself. This is my home principle. And whatever animal you have, feed them well, and make sure you feed them judiciously. Make sure they are enjoying. You see, I gave them the food early this morning already, and you can see how they are feasting on it. They have water. You can see one is drinking right there. Their pen is not yet cleaned up. You can see them playing with the nipple drinker, drinking, access to clean water, which is what we desire. And you can just understand how much important all this is. It really helps their growth, it helps their immune system, it helps them to fight diseases. And yeah, that's exactly what you want when you are into pig farming. This is a shooter male now, for instance. It's growing above all of them. Alright guys, thank you guys for joining us. We hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.